guys, this is AC Lockyer, and this is Building a Lifestyle Business. This is the podcast where we get a chance to dive into the lives of our SoftWash Systems licensed affiliates and find out why they became entrepreneurs and what does it mean to build a lifestyle business for them. And this week, I have Denver Klassen. Denver owns, of course, Denver's SoftWash and Denver's window cleaning and Denver's pest control, and I guess it's Denver's services. A common mistake is you are not in Denver, you are Denver, correct?
Yeah, every year we get at least 2, sometimes more calls from Denver, Colorado, and they tell us their address, they want their windows cleaned or their house washed, and it's not uncommon. And then when they're done talking, then they finally find out we're in Manitoba, Canada. And they feel embarrassed, but it happens every year.
Yeah, I know we have somebody in our network that is Tiki's SoftWash, and before they were Tiki's SoftWash, they were calling themselves, I forget what the name of the main island is out there, but they named themselves Honolulu SoftWash, or it was something like that. I can't remember exactly what it was. And I went, oh, stop, back up the bus. I said, you guys are in California, right? Are like, right. I said, people are going to be looking up cleaning their homes and they're going to see Honolulu SoftWash or on Hana SoftWash, I think it was. And they're going to think that by accident, somebody from the islands is showing up on California. They're not going to call you. And I said, you need to change your name to where, it's still Hawaiian, but it's not a location. And so we rebranded them because they had this really cool kind of tiki statue caricature in their logo. And I said, well, that just needs to be your little dude that you put on everything. He's Tiki. And they went, yeah, he's Tiki. And I went, you're Tiki's SoftWash. And so now they're not named after a location, but in your case, your name is also a location. So I'm sure that gets a little confusing.
Hindsight is 2020. I wish we would have been a little more creative. I didn't know too many creative businesses until we joined the network, and we ran into all kinds of different SoftWash companies. So hindsight, I wish I would have done things a little bit differently.
And what's crazy for me is I have named 85 to 90% of the companies that come through, especially the ones that don't have a name. They're starting out with us completely fresh. And it's hard to come up with that many names because, we've launched over 1,000 brands in the last 10 years.
Yeah. And they're catchy. I love the logos. In my area, there's not too many people that have wraps. Mm-hmm. And the creative names. There's not too many. There's a lot of Jim's Plumbing. There's a lot of like first name and the service.
Yeah.
A lot of that, but full wraps and catchy logos and catchphrases, it's not too popular here.
But it makes it tough. It makes it a little tough that one day, if you ever want to sell your company, you have to find somebody named Denver to buy it.
Yeah. I thought about rebranding and wondering what would be involved in that, but I haven't gotten too far in that.
Yeah. Well, I'm mostly teasing you. I mean, there's a lot of people that buy things like, Denver SoftWash, and then their name is Bob. And when somebody calls and asks for Denver, say, yeah, well, Denver used to be the old guy that owned it. I'm Bob now. And they still keep it the same, but that's pretty cool. So tell me a little bit about yourself, man. I mean, you're up there in Canada and you're not on the state side, and things are a little different up there. And especially with your season and everything. But before we get into the business side of this, tell us a little about yourself, your family. Your sons are involved in the business, I know. Give us their names. But tell me about what you guys like to do and what life is like up there in Manitoba, Canada.
I live in a little town called Steinbach, Manitoba, Canada. We're about 45 minutes southeast of the capital city, Winnipeg, which is a large part of our market area. Mm-hmm. I'm married. My wife, Tammy, is our office admin, and she's also a kindergarten teacher. So she does 2 jobs. And I've got 2 sons. My oldest son is Tanner. He's our territory manager, head of sales. And he's getting more used to that. He's a people person. He loves people. He's got a good heart. And my youngest son, Tanner is 23, and my youngest son is 20. His name's Connor. He was involved in the business until last year. He was our SoftWash lead and also did sales and did a lot of our training as well. But he gave me his notice at the end of last season. He says, I'm not coming back this next season. And so he's not with us anymore. He's working for a company called SuperTech.
Oh, wow.
SuperTech University with Eric and Larry. And as far as what we like to do as a family, we don't get a lot of vacation time because my wife's a teacher. She's got that school season.
Right.
And SoftWash is the other season. It's school is September through winter all the way to June, or SoftWash is April or May, depending on the weather, all the way to October. So it crosses
overlap.
So our weekends or Christmas break pretty much are our vacation time. And so what we like to do is my in-laws had a cottage for 20 years at a lake. So our weekends were our vacation time. And that cottage sold about a year and a half ago.
Oh, no.
But they had an empty lot. So right across the road from their cottage. And so we moved an RV in. So we still get to go to the lake, but now we have an RV. And we spend our weekends there.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah. As a family, we love to go fishing and just spend time together. So what was part 2 of the question? I don't
just you're doing really good just trying to find out who you are, not what your business is, but who you are. Your family, like you just mentioned, you like to go to the lake house, and you had the lake house, but they sold it, so you got the lot across the street, put your RV on it. I will say this is, I kind of joke about this all the time, that you can tell how good of a salesperson a guy is by how well he married and if he married up or not. And I got to say, man, you must be a pretty decent salesperson, because I think you married pretty well.
I think I did too.
Yeah.
I think I did too. In fact, I know I did. My wife's got she's got a good heart. She takes care of me, takes care of our sons. And it's not easy for her to run her classroom.
Right.
And then operate the company through the admin part. It's a lot of stress. So I did marry up. I got a great set of in-laws. We get along, and they pretty much share everything they have, and it's amazing. So I've been very blessed. And then having 2 sons that follow the Lord. Yeah, God's been good. God's given us a lot of blessings, some trials, which is what we learned through. But I definitely can't complain. I'm very grateful for what's going on in my life.
Hey, and if he did complain, he'd make you wander around the desert for 40 years.
Probably. What I don't like is I don't like learning by trial and tribulation. But
that's right.
But we have to go through that to learn, and I've learned a lot over the years.
It's like the standing joke in kind of the Christian circles is, don't pray for patience.
I've done it. I've been warned against it.
Because God will give you a struggle in your life. He'll give you a thorn in your flesh to help you become patient. Yeah, and we don't necessarily want to do that. Well, that's cool. And so, have you always owned your own business? Have you always been an entrepreneur, or did you have a job at one time and there was a transition? Tell me about these years. We get married, we start families, we have to support them. Give me the backstory.
Like most people, I was raised to get a good job. I was raised to get do good grades, get a career. I started in a mechanical field, like car mechanics, and that didn't go well. But I didn't enjoy it. But my dad was into long distance truck driving, so I then got my license and I became a truck driver for a couple of years.
Okay.
And so I have my class 1 permit, and then from there I went on to back to the automotive field, and I did customer service there in the service department.
Sure.
Did that for a while. Always knowing there was something else I needed to do, and I thought trucking was it again. So I went back, but I went into the office as a customer service rep and then dispatch for a large trucking firm. So and I did that for almost 10 years before I started window cleaning. But for 6 of those 10, I didn't enjoy where I was. I was
Hmm.
just constantly, something was just nagging at me, pulling at me. I needed to do something for myself, start a business, um, just get something going. And I'm ashamed to say I was pretty desperate so I tried everything from multi-level to just experimenting with other things. And I lost a lot of money. I lost a lot of money
Wow.
experimenting with, especially with multi-level.
Hmm.
So I'm always cautious when somebody approaches me with that because I've lived that life, and
Me
it's
too. Me too. I get hit up on a regular basis. People be like, "Boy, AC, you'd be so good at this," and I'm like, "Yeah, no, thank you."
yeah. No, I've
I
been
have
there.
very little weekend and evening time, or evening and weekend time, and I'm not going to spend it, you know, selling junk for people from Michigan.
Yeah. No, I agree. It's some people make a living at it. It wasn't for me.
Yeah.
Um, but um, then I actually found a write-up of a guy in Canada. I don't know how I stumbled across it. His name was Gary Hamilton. He's an Irish guy who was an immigrant to Canada, and he wrote his story. He told us a story to a newspaper, and that just intrigued me. He came out here on vacation, saw the need or the opening for window cleaning,
Right.
and he actually apparently booked jobs. And he was an immigrant. He couldn't. I mean, he was a visitor. He couldn't even work, but he booked jobs before the winter. So he said, "It's too cold now. I'll come back in spring and we'll do it. We'll take care of these contracts." Over the winter, he got his work permit, came back, did the job, and the rest is history. He owns a company called Alpha Window Cleaning now, and I believe last I checked was Montreal.
Wow.
Yeah, I tracked him down, had a long conversation with him, and that's how I got started in the window cleaning service industry. And from there, we started with a bucket and like a squeegee, and moved on from there.
Interesting. So I know a lot of people that are in the window cleaning business, of course. And I was really, really surprised over the years as I got into the window cleaning business, learning what what their revenues were, what they thought a good truck made per day, what they were trying to achieve per man hour, some of the tools and the things that they were using to clean the windows. It really was like, wow, this window cleaning industry hasn't changed in 100 years, and a lot of self-limiting thoughts about what could be attained or how much revenues that you could make in the window cleaning industry. And so did you see similar things, or did you fall victim to some of that as being coming from, or your heritage being in the window cleaning industry?
I had nothing. I had nothing to go by, so I pretty much started my own pricing until I met a guy named Perry Tate.
Yeah.
Uh, I did a lot of the old fashioned window cleaning.
By the way, Perry is probably listening, so we'll say, "Hey, Perry." I was just talking
Hey,
to him yesterday, so
I was actually on his podcast about 3-4 weeks ago.
yeah, yeah,
So yeah, but before I met Perry, I was doing old school cleaning, and I kind of set my own prices, which was based on what I found on the internet. Um, this is acceptable. You should be getting this much per hour, and so I was basing it on roughly $1 a minute. So in my head, that's a lot of money, like $60 an hour.
right,
And so I priced according to that. And then I met Perry and his equipment, and I saw his equipment, and he pretty much changed what I thought about pure water window cleaning. Like, I'm sorry, I'm going to back it up a bit. Before I met him, I had a window cleaning or pure water window cleaning unit here. I was the first one in Manitoba to bring one in. I ordered from California, cost me a lot of money. And
you ordered it from California. Did you buy it from our other friend over at Jay Racenstein?
yeah, no, I bought it from NRA. And I've already dismantled that, and I've reconfigured it and all kinds
Yeah.
of stuff. But they had old brushes, and it really opened up my options, though,
Mhm.
right? And I thought it was really really doing well. And then I got new equipment, new poles, and I was able to train people and increase my team
Right.
and offer more for same amount of labor, right? So then my hourly rate went up, and that really changed my viewpoint. But I didn't really know about charging a premium until I started working with guys from used to be called Automate, Grow, Sell, or Conquer.
Yeah.
And then I moved over to I met you, and also Howard Partridge. I didn't really know about pricing and charging what it's worth. I always kind of went by what's the industry charging? What are the other guys charging?
Sure. And you never really knew what the other guys were charging. It's what you kind of, well, I'm assuming, because this is the way I was. It was what I felt like they were charging based on what feedback customers were giving me, until I figured out that customers were liars. Buyers were liars. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I can get this for $200, and I want to charge 600.
Yeah, and I'm like, how in the heck can I figure out how to do this for $200? Well, I got to go in and crunch my numbers and everything else to lower my prices and get down to $200. So I got to figure out how to do it faster and everything else, because that customer said that they picked somebody else because they were $200, and they were just lying.
That or that guy did that one job and never showed up, or never.
Yeah,
never
and they went out of business, just like I was getting ready to go out of business, trying to match their prices. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's been a challenge. We've been trying to educate our customers. We've raised our prices over the years. We are probably, I'm guessing, twice as much as our next competitor. But I do hope we do have regular customers coming back, loyal customers, and so we're doing something right. Many of them don't tell us what we're doing right; they just keep coming back. And I just train my team that way, that these people love us, they trust us, and often it's new people on my team, so I got to retrain them every year, right? So they're delivering, and that's kind of how I got started. Back to your question, how to get started? That was window cleaning.
So you've been window cleaning for how many years now?
We're in our 18th season.
Your 18th season. So a few years back ago, you discovered SoftWash Systems. How many years ago was that?
I believe it was 4.
Okay.
Just before the
pandemic?
You weren't allowed to have Discover SoftWash. I wasn't able to fly in. It was your first Zoom.
We were doing the Discover SoftWash live streams. Yeah, so that would have been 2020. Yep. So you're coming up on 4 years now.
Yeah. And I heard of you through Brandon Vaughn, who was part of Conquer, who was friends with Joshua Latimer from Automate, Grow, Sell, who developed Conquer. And somehow I got Brandon's email. I said, we were kind of from the same industry. He grew up in the window cleaning. And so I connected with him that way. He probably wouldn't even ever remember. And I said, what do I need to do to grow what I have? And he just said SoftWash. And he put me in touch with you. And that's where it started. That's how I signed up with your online Discover SoftWash course. And that's where we started.
Have you been looking for an investor-grade home service business opportunity? SoftWash Systems is what you've been looking for. Come to Discover SoftWash and discover your potential. Learn how we provide you with the equipment, chemicals, education, and support for your soft washing business. For more information about becoming a licensed affiliate, call our Shield support agents at 855-763-8669 or visit our website, www.softwashsystems.com/discover. Join the revolution. Join SoftWash Systems.
Yeah, it's interesting. Josh Latimer, you talk about him being from Automate, Grow, Sell. Before he did that, he was a window cleaner. And he owned a company called, believe it or not, Bird Beware. And so he called it Bird Beware because the glass would be so clean, the birds would have to be careful because they're just going to fly into the windows thinking there's no glass there at all. So it was Bird Beware, which was very fun. And then he sold that company and went into coaching and, doing all of his stuff with AGS. And yeah, it was interesting for sure.
He's done very well. He's a smart guy.
He is, again, somebody else who married up. Ashley is a force of nature, man. She's incredible. Yeah, I mean, it's always incredible how these ladies make their men better. I know that's the way it is with my wife, Karen. I wouldn't be who I am today if I didn't have Karen. I could have married poorly, and the things I achieved in life never happened. So
Yeah.
yeah. So you found SoftWash Systems. And so tell me about that journey. You discovered them through, Brandon Vaughn got a referral, did the digital, discover SoftWash. What was it that made you go, this is something different?
Well, I've been playing with the idea of a version of SoftWash for years because I saw moss and algae growing on a lot of my customers' roofs. And I had found a product, several products actually. I tested them, and it was kind of doing a halfway job, but I still saw that there was a potential there for business. And so what caught me was the photos. And I know a lot of guys say this. I saw your video. I was led toward your video on YouTube,
Mm-hmm.
and I saw before and after pictures of other SoftWash companies, whether they were affiliated with SoftWash Systems or not. I saw the befores and afters, and I'm thinking, man, I'd like to get those results.
Right. Yeah.
And specifically, I wanted to start this for the cottage industry that I work in. I'm kind of in between Winnipeg and Kenora.
Mm-hmm.
Winnipeg is the city, and it's a lot of business there, a lot of money there. But Kenora is the land of the rich and famous, is what I call it. We have people from all over the world that buy cottages there, and whether it's private islands on the lake or road access cottages. These are like $1 million plus $10 million cottages.
Right.
So
cottages.
There's a lot of potential if you can break into that circle. Right?
Oh yeah. And it's a very famous lake. Go ahead and say the name of the lake.
It's Lake of the Woods.
Lake of the Woods. We all heard about Lake of the Woods all of our lives. There's a neighborhood here in Seminole County called Lake of the Woods. And they renamed the lake in there Lake of the Woods. And so, it's very interesting. The original and real Lake of the Woods is up there in Canada.
Yeah. And I call it a place. It's my Disney World place. I get to visit. I can't afford to live there, but I get to visit.
Yeah, it's very much so a resort area.
Yeah, but unfortunately, but the resorts are actually privately owned vacation homes.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been doing window cleaning at these places for years, at several of them. Not nearly all of them, but several of them. And the dream is to introduce SoftWash to them, and we've had a chance to do a few. But we're slowly convincing people to give it a shot or give it a look. But it's been more of an education process for us, because out here everybody has a pressure washer, and they want to pressure wash everything. And I've seen damage on walls, on decks. We're talking $100,000 decks or more.
Wow.
It's all chewed up because somebody decided to pressure wash it, right? Or roofs that have rotted out 10 years ahead of time from what their lifespan was supposed to be. So there's potential in it, and I'm working hard to do that. And God willing, we're going to make more progress, with a team like my son and my wife, and then the teams I have to do the job. We're slowly making progress. People are slowly, talking to us more and more about soft washing, and that's becoming our next service. It's hopefully going to surpass the window cleaning part.
For sure. Yeah. And so I see you every week because you get on our tribe time. We have a 2-hour call every Wednesday, group call that we do with the other licensed affiliates. And so I get to hear about all your victories, your defeats, and you ask questions every week and all. And I just know here recently, within the last few weeks, you sold and have cleaned, I think it was a $15,000 single residential home cleaning.
Yeah, it was actually just under 18,000.
Oh, excuse me. Let me get this straight. It was just under 18,000.
This is an amazing house. Most people wouldn't think it needed cleaning, but when these folks, they tracked us down on the internet. They didn't know about us. They just Googled limestone cleaning in Manitoba, and we
Yes.
popped up. And our web company has worked really hard at putting in keywords that people will search. And we popped up. They have a conversation with my son Tanner, and he goes there. He went over there, and he's pointing stuff out. He's not high pressure. None of us are high pressure.
Right.
He says, "Okay, I see this. This is the problem." And the owner is pointing out what's really bothering him. Right? He's got this multi-million-dollar house, and he's got these black lines just running down at random spots where many other houses are going to go, well, it just happens, no big deal. But
Right.
it bothered him. It bothered him. So Tanner points that out. He goes, by the way, you got that on your roof as well. He's got in the back of his house, just in front of his pool.
It's
big patch of
coming
black
from
algae.
somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah. So then he works out a quote, and the owner says, okay, we're going to talk about this, which usually means we're not going to call you back.
Right. Yeah.
Right? It often means that. But he says, before Tanner leaves, he shakes his hand and he goes, I look forward to working with you. And he said, I'll call you tomorrow. And he did. He honored that, and he called. He says, okay, let's do everything.
Wow.
Except the flat work. We did the walls. We did the roof. We did gutter brightening. We did all that on the house itself, right? Took us 4 days. 4 long days. And yeah, it was just so much fun. And I got the opportunity to meet them, and they were super friendly, and they were very appreciative of my team that was there. I've got 2 young ladies on the SoftWash team, and incredible hard workers. I would put them up against just about any all-guy team out there. They are amazing.
Good eye for detail too, I'm sure.
Absolutely, and they won't let a halfway job escape them. Like they got to get it right. Yeah, so that was our biggest job to date, and since then Tanner sold several others, $2,000-$3,000 jobs, and some are kind of up in the air. We're waiting for responses, but word of mouth is key for us, has always been.
Yeah.
So we're kind of hoping a customer like that has family and friends. Funny thing is, my lead, when they closed with this customer, she was giving her talk about 5-star review, and would you consider referring us to friends and family? Well, apparently the lady of the house went up to my lead, put her arms around the young lady of my lead, and said, my dear, or something like that, honey, I've already told my family and friends about you. So she was already talking about them before the request was made.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
That's so cool. So now that you've brought on SoftWash Systems, you're still doing window cleaning. I know this morning we talked about that, you're evaluating your service mix and what you offer homes and stuff like that. But you brought on soft washing, and it's starting to grow, and it's even starting to overshadow some of the other services that you do. You're building this business for a reason, and that's to build a lifestyle business to not only pay the bills and all, but to give you a quality of life and time. And you already mentioned that because your schedules overlap, you want to be able to go to the lake on the weekend and all. What does building a lifestyle business mean to you? I mean, tell me what that really means for Denver and your family.
Well, for me and my wife, we started this as window cleaning. When I started hiring people years ago, we started as a ministry. I know other people have said it. I heard Vince and Chris Lombardo say that as well, cleaning through ministry. And we're not the only ones. And that's genuinely how my vision was when I started, and that hasn't changed. So I want to bring on young people that want to learn. I know they're not going to be with me forever, but I want to teach them skills, working skills, and life skills. And speak the word of God into their lives, and that's my goal. And unfortunately, money is oxygen, like Zig Ziglar says. I need money to do that. I need money to work in people's lives and to impact them and hire them and bless them in some way. Right.
The exact quote Zig Ziglar says is, money isn't everything, but in a scale of gotta have it, it's reasonably close to oxygen. And so that's the exact quote.
Okay, so that's kind of what I'm picturing, right? I want cash flow. I want money flow so I can hire people. Business can still work, and where I don't maybe have to be on the truck. I don't have to be in the office or do the selling, but I could do some training. I could do some mentoring. Where now sometimes it is honestly difficult because I'm the backup on the truck, or I'm the coach, I'm the trainer, I'm the repair guy, I'm the visionary, I'm the let's order this, and do we spend another 20 grand with AC, or do we do we hold off and fix what we have, that kind of stuff, right? I'm not there yet, but we have had a lot of people come through here in 18 years. We've had probably about six people learn soft wash since we started soft washing. And, they've gone on to other things, but we've had probably, I'm guessing, about 20 other people over the years, 20, 30 other young people just come through here and learn how to do things. And each one of them, I pray with them unapologetically. And we talk about the Lord, we talk about my faith. And nobody's giving me a hard time. And not everybody believes what I believe, but that's what I hope. And then I hope also to have more time with my wife. As being a teacher, if we can afford it, she can retire from teaching with a full pension at 55.
Right.
And I won't say her age now, but that is,
she's 29.
There you go. But that's also a possibility if the company could sustain itself and support us and give us an income. That would be a possibility of her being able to retire from teaching. Then and then we can just focus on this, or just spend some time doing other things that like even some travel. But yeah, this has been our main focus.
So as you look at now building this business and all, you still have your one son involved in the business. Your other son may come back one day. I don't know. But where do you see this thing in 5 years, 10 years? Where do you see this business growing to?
Well, I see it. Winnipeg's not that big. So I see it as...
what is the population of the greater Winnipeg area?
I'd be guessing here it's probably about 1 million people.
Okay, well that's pretty good size. Yeah.
So
certainly you could achieve all of your life's goals and dreams servicing that area.
Yeah, it was not a wealthy city. There's definitely money there, but it's not what you would consider a wealthy city. But I would like to see a terminal in Winnipeg. Right now, we set a Steinbeck off my yard. And I'd like to see a terminal in Winnipeg with 2 trucks. And I'd like to see a full-time soft wash service in the Kenora, in the cottage area.
Yeah. Because
there is potential there. But that means developing a boat system that I can get to the islands. So it means some creativity, which is in my head. We did have a request for a quote from somebody on an island, but it was just way too much. We had to barge the truck out there, and that was going to be thousands of dollars more than what he was willing to spend.
Sure.
So there's potential, but it needs some thinking, some thought process, and that's my idea for Manitoba. And I've got family outside of Manitoba that, I've often thought about spreading it to other provinces, because we're the only ones in central Canada that does this.
Wow.
You have somebody in British Columbia.
Yep. We've got a lot on the west side. I think we got 1 or 2 on the east side.
Yeah, but I'm the only one in central Canada.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of potential, but you have to have the right people in place, and finding those people is going to be key.
Yes. So if you're to speak to somebody that's looking at possibly quitting their job, becoming an entrepreneur, and looking at SoftWash Systems or going into soft washing, what would you tell them? What would be your words of wisdom that you would give them?
I would tell them to really look at their surroundings, pick their right market. I'm in a tough market.
Right.
So if they have opportunity to be in a market that is even more dirty or moss filled than what mine is, that might be a better market to be in. So if they're in a good market, then it's something to consider. It is a substantial investment. You do have options for buying small first, like your taco, in a small half ton or small truck. There's definitely options to get started, and if that's something that they think they could start with, I'd say start small. If that fits in your budget, but if you already have pre-sold, I sold a big job before I bought the unit. So I had $5,000, I think, pre-sold, and so I just bought the big unit and went all in. So if the market allows you to pre-sell, I would say then pre-sell and then order it, and then convince your customers to hold off because you've got this huge fancy system coming. They're going to be really impressed.
That's right.
Hey,
you can tell them, you can be honest with them too and say, hey, listen, I'm trying to sell enough jobs, get enough work on the board to where X amount of percentage of that work equals what it's going to cost me to buy this system. And we're just, seeing if I get to go ahead and sell you this job and put you on the schedule. And, it's going to be delayed a little bit, but, you could be part of me. It's kind of like, these jump starts and GoFundMe's and stuff like that. It's kind of like, instead of somebody loaning you money, they're giving you a job, and they understand that once you get enough, you're going to go out and buy that piece of equipment and get started. If you're honest with people will probably support you, and you wouldn't have to borrow money to do it.
Absolutely. And if somebody, back to the advice, if somebody was genuinely interested, they could look up SoftWash Systems. I'd steer them toward you and look up some before and afters. There's affiliate pictures out there that are impressive. There's historical buildings that people have done. There's stadiums that Joshua did a stadium. There's residential, a lot of residential pictures of high-end homes, or even your average bungalows.
Right.
There's a wide variety of photos available. So if somebody wants to get started, but they need proof of what SoftWash can do, there's a lot of that available through SoftWash Systems.
Yep, there sure is, for sure. A lot that you can show people, and you can bootstrap it if you need to, for sure.
Yeah. I'm not sorry I did it. It's definitely been a challenge to educate people. But I'm very thankful that I met you and the group. And there's a couple of guys that are real mentors to me in the group. So I really look forward to having them on Tribe Time, or even in my Thursday night pod. One of them is Jim Prom. He knows that, and I've told him that he's one of my mentors. I would consider him that. And another guy that's been a real encouragement to me is Jeremiah Gibson.
Yes.
He maybe doesn't know it, but just listen to him talk, and just the feedback every once in a while when we talk back and forth. It's good. Another one is Todd Ballerston. I hope I didn't pronounce his last
Southpaw,
name right.
Yeah,
from Southpaw. Yeah, I communicate with him every once in a while, and what a pleasure. I mean, the people that are involved in SoftWash Systems is definitely a godsend. It's the encouragement, the teamwork, the trading of ideas, how to get things done. Let's say I have a challenge that I don't know how to do. I'm pretty sure somebody in SoftWash has come across something similar. So just to put the note out there on the group chat, say I got this challenge. Can I get some advice? That is so valuable.
It really is. Well, that's cool. Well, listen, I'm glad you're doing well. And of course, we get to see each other every week when we're on Tribe Time together. And you mentioned some great names like Jeremiah and the other guys. And, Jeremiah has been certainly inspirational lately because, he's another guy with the window cleaning heritage. Because of his disc personality style, he's a lot more conservative and a lot more cautious on things. And the last year or so, he has really opened up and started taking risks and implementing things and having more faith in his business and stepping out on faith with some of his stuff. It's been certainly cool to watch. Well, cool, Denver. Listen, this has been a great conversation. And I really appreciate you being on and getting to know more about you. And also, too, everybody, listen, if you have friends or family that are are there in the Manitoba area, and specifically, what town are you in?
I'm in Steinbach.
Steinbach, that's right. Always remember Steinbach like the author. In that Steinbach area, if you know anybody there, give Denver a call, and he can help you out with getting those homes cleaned, especially on Lake of the Woods. If you have a McMansion that you need cleaned, he's your guy for sure. They call them cabins there, not McMansions, by the way. And but we know what they are. And yeah, certainly he's got a great business, a great family. It is a family business. And yeah, certainly bless him with some business. So thank you so much for being on, Denver.
Thanks for the invite.
Yeah.
A lot of fun.
Cool. All right, guys. So if you've liked this podcast, go ahead and subscribe down here at the bottom of the screen. You can also like and share the podcast. And certainly we're doing these on just about every week. We'll do about 48 of these a year here. So we have lots more of these stories coming to you on building a lifestyle business. Hey guys, this is AC Lockyer. And as always, go forth and prosper.